In the last episode I killed the Wall of Flesh. That now puts my world in hard mode. So what I am doing here at first is in my little safe house I am fishing to get full adamantine armour. That way I don't have to face any of the hard mode mobs with the pre-hard mode armour levels. I think this is really important in hardcore to make sure that I don't die. Now once I have this armour, I want to farm some accessories that are now finally accessible. I already made some farms, which makes it somewhat easy now for me to farm the Ankh Shield. There's a combination of all the debuff immunity items into one item so that you are immune to most debuffs in the game. And then once I have my new armor and I have the Ankh Shield, at that point I feel ready for some mechanical bosses. Then once I kill the mechanical bosses, that's when I get the Souls of Fright, Souls of Might and Souls of Sight. And with these I can make a hallowed pickaxe which can farm chlorophyte. So here I am just continuing on my fishing grind. I need a lot of hard mode crates so that I can get enough mithril and adamantine for both the adamantine forge, the mithril anvil and also the adamantine armor, and I also want some other things like the repeater and maybe pickaxe or something. But I probably don't craft the pickaxe since I want to get the pickaxe after the mechanical bosses anyway. So yeah, this fishing takes a long time since you don't get a lot of adamantine, you get a lot of other ores, but the higher the ore level the more rare it is. And so I spent hours fishing. But because it is in a desert I am getting more beast statues, which means that I can basically put a beast statue at every farm and every spot where I might take damage, just to slightly increase my armor even further. Since, as I've said many times now, every increase in armor is more effective than the last increase, as long as your armor value is close to the enemy damage level. Now I am using a chair for 5 extra fishing power, sake that the traveling merchant sells for 5 extra fishing power. I'm also using fishing potions and I'm using crate potions. Together of course with the fishing accessories I got from the many fishing dailies I did. In between here I am still doing some of my fishing dailies just to keep some variation in the game, even though it would be safer to stay in my safe house. I just found it a little bit too boring. And I also want to get the corruption growing so that I can kill the Eater of Worlds, because that's the pre-hard mode corruption boss, but the accessory it drops gives you 17% damage reduction, and I think that is really strong in Master Mode, especially if you're playing hardcore. So here I plant some of the seeds, and then it can grow while I am fishing, just to save some time. And once it has grown, I'll have to farm some of the mushrooms and some of the corruptors. Now I'm trying to get the Medusa, so I have started farming for the Ankh Shield at this point. And I only place a couple marble blocks, but as long as there's one marble block on your screen, then it's enough for a Medusa to be able to spawn. And I want to get rid of it immediately after I kill Medusa, since Medusa is really scary. Because her debuff turns you into stone and then you cannot control your character, and you do take full damage even if you have a full damage immunity item equipped. And so it's important to not get in a situation where you accidentally get stoned by Medusa. It takes me quite a few Medusa kills before I get the item, and she's also pretty strong and I don't have a lot of damage yet, so it takes some time here. At first I was considering getting the banner, but once I got the item I thought, nah, there's no need for that. You can see there I also have a beast statue here. It's really nice having a lot of those. Now at this point I also realized the hoplite armor is pretty nice for early game. If you can farm them out quick, you have knockback immunity from the set bonus and decent armor. I think it might be nicer for platinum armor to go for early game if I would do another Skyblock run. Now the music in the background is just my journey mode character that I'm flying around in a journey mode map that I used just to generate some music for these videos. Because I have no idea how YouTube works, how copyright and stuff works on YouTube. But I do know that if I'm allowed to play the game and play the game music, I might as well hop in the game and use that music. And I mean, I love Terraria music. It gives me, I think, a dopamine rush every time I hear it, so yeah. Got some honey now in my crafting area with bubble blocks, which allows me to craft things with honey if I need to, and also get the 30-second honey buff there quickly, which gives a massive amount of regen. I think at this point I'm going for the accessory that drops in the crimson, and I also check on the mushrooms of the corruption beneath my base. And I now have enough mushrooms to use powder to spread the corruption a bit faster. Now as I'm doing this, a corrupted mimic spawns and I'm thinking, I'm pretty strong, I have adamantine armor, I should be able to take this. So I fight it and it's a lot tankier than I thought, and then it hit me once and I saw, oh, I just lost half my HP, so I immediately teleport out. But it's not far enough for the mimic to despawn and it comes at me. So I'm afraid now, I cannot teleport home because it is at my home. So I try to get around it, and I run to the teleporter to my safe base, and just in time I get there. I almost get hit again and almost die there, so that was very scary. At this point I'm thinking, can I teleport home or is he coming at me? So I sit ready with my teleporter in hand, but it luckily doesn't charge at me, it seems to have despawned. And so I think it's safe to go back to base now. I do quickly get the honey buff just in case, but it's not charging at me, so I'm safe again. Now this was a really scary encounter. I forgot how strong mimics were and I got a little bit overconfident here. It's late at night and that's when I start to make mistakes. So yeah, I decide I should sleep and I continue on some other day. At this point I also don't need the granite golems anymore, and I want to use this farm to farm some more of the accessories for the Ankh Shield. So I get rid of the granite. And I continue farming some mobs. Now let's see, I got the pocket mirror I already got from Medusa. The Blindfold I believe I don't have yet, but I will get that from Crimson or Corruption slimes. I was farming the armor polish there for a second and I get it pretty quick. Now vitamins I'll get in my corruption farm beneath my base pretty soon here. See, the adhesive bandage drops from werewolves, but they only spawn during a full moon. And since I didn't know how often that happens and I didn't want to wait, I actually made a farm for the anglerfish later on. Now this was quite hard. I didn't get them to behave in the way that I wanted, but yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit. The Bezoar I already got from the bees in the jungle, pre-hard mode. The Nazar I will be farming from cursed swords, enchanted swords and crimson axes. Probably the cursed hammers in this new caverns corruption area that I have here. And the megaphone I also didn't want to make a hallowed, since I thought the fewer different enemy types there are, the safer, since I get to know them and I know how much damage they do, etc. So I actually make a jellyfish farm as well, so I can get the megaphone from green jellyfish. The trifold map I get really quickly from the giant bat without even trying. And the fast clock luckily spawns from the first wraith I encounter. Drops from the first wraith I encounter, so that's really lucky on my part. So here I'm going to try and make the anglerfish farm. Now this is in the jungle, so you also get what's the big fish? Those longer fish to spawn, and they kind of eat up the spawn space from the anglerfish, so I don't get anglerfish. And also somehow the fish don't seem to get aggroed towards me, even though I'm standing in water. So I found that quite strange. I think they might have changed that in Terraria in one of the recent updates. So I spent some time here trying it out, but not succeeding in getting any anglerfish. Now it does look like a somewhat good money farm in the jungle there, since after I do the pirate invasion I get accessories that give me coins on every damage tick on an enemy. And if I use slimes, they don't kill the enemies, but they do a lot of damage ticks to them, and so you get a lot of money from that accessory, from the lucky coin ring. So again, here I'm making a second water farm, but this time not in the jungle, so that I can hopefully farm some anglerfish. But they aren't aggroing at me, also the jellyfish aren't. So I'm very confused. It used to be if you stand in water, even if it's not a connected pool, they charge at you, but it doesn't seem to be like that now. So I'm thinking, like, how am I going to do this? And I decide I'll just make a spot at the bottom where I can at least see them, so see how they behave. And then once I understand how they behave, I can make a farm accordingly. So here I think, oh yeah, it's full moon, so I kill some werewolves to hopefully get the adhesive bandage. Now I also want other accessories from werewolves. I want the moon charm as well, because the moon charm combines together with a lot of other items like the sunstone, moonstone and the Neptune shell into a pretty strong accessory. It just gives a lot of stats. See, it's the celestial shell. The celestial shell just gives like a whole list of stats. I won't list them all up. The greatest one is during the night 7 defense, which yeah, I'm a big fan of defense, as you have noticed by now. So here I see that the fish kind of stay at the bottom of the pool, so I make a little trap at the bottom of the pool where I can easily kill them. And that's where I start to farm anglerfish and jellyfish for both the adhesive bandage and the megaphone. I really like tinkering around with farms like this, where it starts off being a bad farm and then it gets a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And I basically don't ever make the most efficient farm, but I do like to see when it starts to work a little bit. It's enjoyment for me, that's how I like to play the game. I do continue to do my daily quests in between. And I'm going up and down because I want the mobs that get spawned above me to die, so that there's spawn space for the fish below. And at this point I think maybe I can do a teleport, so I can sit in one spot and kill everything in one spot. And this actually works quite fine. So at this point I finally made a farm that works well enough for both fish and the mobs above. And I'm able to farm the green jellyfish quite easily at this point. So I'll get the megaphone eventually. It does take me some time, but at least at this point it is quite low effort time. Now once I do have the megaphone, of course I don't need this fish farm ever again. So I might as well clean up and put some back walls on it, so that no mobs spawn. You don't want any mobs to spawn in hardcore that don't need to spawn. So yeah, it takes me some time, but I'm getting there. Looking back, this took me actually quite a long time. So this is all at times 16 speed. So yeah, you can imagine how long it is, or you can actually see on the clock on the screen, but still. Just keep on waiting. This is what Terraria is, and this is how I like to play Terraria. It's a semi-idle game, just make my farm and then profit from it. Watch some streams, some YouTube videos. Now in softcore I really like to do my laundry and stuff during farming. But in hardcore I just don't dare go away from my computer, so basically all this footage is me just sitting in front of my computer, which not the healthiest thing that I did, but it's fine for once. Yeah, so I'm finished with the farm now, so I place a back wall so that mobs don't spawn. I'm using the True Knight's Edge there to block the sort of bullets from the casters. I'll go back to my corruption area and make a teleporter into my farming spot. And now I can farm some corruptors so that I get enough materials to spawn the boss. I also put a platform with actuators to the right so that I can switch it between spawning corruption mobs and normal mobs, since the block on the bottom decides what mob gets spawned. I get rid of the underground mushroom biome, since the mushroom NPC needs a surface mushroom biome. And I'm just making a little bit more of this arena corrupted so that the worm doesn't despawn. I don't know why I'm fighting these mobs like this. This is very dangerous, and in hardcore I really shouldn't do it like this. Actually lose half my HP there. I think at this point I also have the frozen turtle shell, which means below half HP I take 50% less damage, and I really like that because I don't have it yet, but I'll get it quite soon here. I really like that because then I get a little bit more time as my health gets low to pay attention and do something about it, since sometimes it goes so fast or I'm so distracted. So now that we are in hard mode, I was able to put the what's he called? The Dryad in the graveyard biome and finally get corruption. So what I did is I transformed my brain arena to a corruption area, and I farmed a bunch there, and I now have enough materials to spawn the boss. I'll quickly put it back to the peaceful candle and then despawn the mobs at the edge of the map. What that allows me to do is summon the Eater of Worlds. Now yes, this is a boss from pre-hard mode, so it should be quite easy, but it drops an accessory which is really strong in the in Master Mode, because it gives you a damage reduction. And that together with armor really increases the survivability of my character. So I'm just going to go down here. I don't think I need anything special. I will take some of my good potions, and I think then I'm ready to kill the Eater of Worlds. So let's see which potions I can find here. I made a bunch somewhere here. Endurance, Rage, sure, Archery, since I am using the titanium repeater. Summoning, Heart Reach, and that should be good. I'll use a Spaghetti for the major improvement, which gives me more defense. Yeah, and then I will replace my slimes with imps. I'm still using slimes because they are easy to kind of control and put in the right spot. I'll buff up and see. That thing hurts a lot. And summon the boss. Yeah, at this point in the game I'm way too strong for this boss, so I can just stand in one spot. I'm more scared of the small worm and up on the side here, the hard mode thingy. And there it is, the next boss down. So I'll continue accessory farming. I did for the last few hours farm for the Ankh Shield. I did this one accessory at a time instead of making a combined farm, so that I have fewer different mob types, and it just keeps it more easy to see what's going on, and I don't accidentally die by some mob glitching through a wall or something. So I can really see how every mob type behaves in my farms and make sure that they don't kill me accidentally, since I am in hard mode scared of pretty much every mob. I am going to turn off my corruption part of this farm. I do that just by having a wooden floor with what's it called, actuators that I can just put in and out, and I'll remove these floors here so that they can't spawn here either. I'll do that with the grave digger that I got in the graveyard biome, and then it's probably the frozen turtle shield next. So yeah, I'm going to go back to farming. So the grave digger shovel, of course, really nice 3x3 area that it digs, and it does like dirt, sand and those types of materials. Should have gotten this way earlier in the game so that I could have done my dirt farming with it, but I just didn't think about it until later. And here I'm going to farm the frozen turtle shell, and then after this I'll want the paladins from the dungeon, but I believe they only drop after Plantera. So for now I have to do it with the frozen turtle shell, which gives you 50% or 25, either 25 or 50% damage reduction below 50% health. And then later you can combine it with the paladin shield, which gives it 6 armor as well, which, yeah, that's just really nice. Now my farm is working somewhat okay, but you see mobs escaping from time to time. That is when two mobs stand on the teleporter too fast after one another. One mob gets teleported back up, and then it might get stuck in the wall if it made one step downstairs, and then it glitches through the wall. I spent like 10 platinum trying to reforge this frozen sickle, and that's almost all my money just gone right there and then. And I think for the rest of the game I'll have a slight money problem. So yeah, I shouldn't have tried to re-roll this as hard as I did, but I do like the sickle weapons. Yeah, I spent way too much money on this one weapon. But yeah, now I have the frozen turtle shield, and I'm starting to build my mechanical boss arena. Now I want this to be a very long arena, since for the mechanical eye I want to be able to basically run the entire fight. For the mechanical worm I just want to be both high and also run. And then for the mechanical skull I'm pretty much going to sit in one spot. Now I think first I'm going to do the mechanical worm, and that has a lot of small minions. And I want to be able to run away from these small minions towards one side so that they hopefully despawn if I get far away enough. Yeah, I'm also making my arena bigger here, so I can kill Plantera at my base later on. Making sure to wall it all so I don't get mob spawning. And I'm going to make the bottom of my base now also jungle, so that Plantera doesn't enrage if it leaves to the jungle within the arena in my base. I'm making an extra teleporter that goes up to my mechanical boss arena. Just nice to have, so that once it's night I can get there quickly. I fight the wyvern there, and I do that by charging left and right just before he hits me every time. And the sickle does a lot of damage to him, since the sickle kind of shoots these spinning blades. They sit in one spot and pierce enemies. So yeah, I think this is a nice weapon for the wyvern. Just charge left and right, and then he's real easy. I always like to do fights with as little movement as possible, so that you make fewer mistakes. You don't accidentally run into other enemies or anything. So yeah, another, what is it? I don't know, I don't remember what I'm farming there. Just reordering my accessories, seeing what I want to use, what I don't want to use. And I do end up going for the brain accessory, gives me dodge chance, the worm scarf, which gives me damage reduction, the Ankh Shield, which gives me 4 armor, which is the thing I'm most which is most useful for boss fights, and also the debuff immunity for most debuffs, but I don't think it matters for a lot of bosses, maybe for Plantera for poison, but I'm not quite sure. I go for the frozen turtle shield. I always want something that gives me full damage immunity. Now I finally got wings now that I'm in hard mode. Sad thing about wings is that it doesn't give luck like the horseshoe or the upgrades from the horseshoe does. So I do keep the horseshoe in case I need luck. I'm also using the panic necklace since I do like the increase in immunity frames, and I am using the Shield of Cthulhu still because I do want a dash, so I can easily dodge mechanics, like the Wyvern for example. Here I'm just thinking how I want to fight Plantera in this arena. At this point I'm just thinking, is there anything I can do before I do the mechanical bosses, any upgrades I can get? But I'm pretty much out of ideas. I got some ash blocks so that I can get fire blossoms to spawn. So I stand in my farm where I have jungle tiles on the left. Now on those jungle tiles herb slimes spawn, and the herb slimes when they walk over ash will plant fire blossoms. So that's how I get this last herb that I don't have yet, since I could only get this herb in hard mode from mobs that drop ash blocks in the hell. I adjust my farm slightly for the tortoises and also the herblings, since the tortoises jump quite high and they got stuck on the edge there. And now I'm just banner farming also, so that I have the jungle banners in my base. Because I have made my main base jungle, it's quite dangerous, and I think the banners really can help me survive here. But having my base jungle has made me very alert at all times, which I think is a good thing. I got rid of my underground farm since I don't need that anymore. And also I got the bottomless honey bucket, so I don't need to drain the honey to the underground. If I get a quest I can just use the bottomless honey bucket for that. Continue waiting for herb slimes. They are very rare, it seems, you don't get a lot of these herbs. But I do eventually get it. Continue doing my daily quests. I make the arena at the bottom here crimson now, because I want ichor flasks, and for the ichor flasks you need ichor that drop from the ichor mobs that spawn in the caverns crimson, and the ichor flask gives your melee attacks the ichor debuff on enemies, and that decreases their armor, which is a huge damage increase. So I think ichor flasks really are the best flask in the game. For the mechanical bosses I'm also going to do some melee attacks in between my ranged attacks, just to make sure that their armor stays debuffed. You can also make ichor bullets, and that also decreases their armor. And I think before I have glorified, those ichor bullets are also the highest damage bullets, so I can simply use those with a mega shark after I kill one of the mechanical bosses to do a lot of damage. Yeah, these herb slimes are really taking their time, and also I got a pirate invasion there, so I just sit in my base, do the pirate invasion. I think the only dangerous mob is the ghost that spawns from the pirate captain, because that goes through walls. All the other mobs, so the pirate captain itself and also the pirate ship, they don't go through walls, so I'm pretty safe in my base just sitting at my farming spot. Now I also want to farm some pirate maps, so that I can do more pirate invasions for the lucky coin that I mentioned earlier, since that gives a lot of money and also discounts on purchases and also on rerolls, which is most important since I do a lot of rerolling. So I am going to farm some pirate maps here at the edge of the map. Yeah, so the lucky coin gives you the coins, but you can combine it with a gold ring, which gives you a magnet full gold, coins, and the discount card, which gives you discount, and they combine in the coin ring, which yeah, is a very nice accessory to hold close, and also it gives you luck. So if you have like the coin ring on, you have the right torches, and you have the lucky horseshoe on, then you get good rerolls really quickly, which saves a lot of money. So I've made a ceiling above my arena so that stars don't fall on me, and now I'm making the arena itself, which is just going to be a very long platform, so I can kite the bosses easily. I actually find the Shimmer Island like this, but I only want to use Shimmer for items that I cannot get in any other way. Then place campfires just outside each other's buff range. Then every other campfire I place a heart lantern and a beast statue and a sunflower. That way I have full buff coverage without wasting too many resources. Now I'm just collecting all my beast statues from hell, since I don't, even though I fished so long in the desert, I don't have enough for the entire arena without removing them from other places. So here I make sure I have full buff coverage. And what I do then, I'm just considering where I do want beast statues and where I don't want them. I also make my spawn point back in my safe house, because this is a little bit further away from the surface, and that increases the chance of bosses to despawn if I teleport back. I place the nurse there, the dryad there, my bed there, so I can heal quickly if I teleport back, and also if any enemy somehow gets close or a boss follows me there, I have the dryad for a little bit extra armor. And then underneath my main platform for fighting the bosses, I make a second platform where I can make where I can put some honey buff spots, and that just helps me that I can run as fast as I want on the top platform without getting slowed down. But if I do want a honey buff, I can drop down, quickly get the honey buff, and then go back up. But I don't want the honey buff on my main platform because it does slow me down. I don't want to get slowed down during these boss fights. Now I got some fire blossoms to spawn, or well, some herb slimes to spawn that planted fire blossoms. Just trying to get a couple more so I don't have to farm as long. Hard thing about fire blossoms is that they only bloom at dusk. So at this point I'm starting to feel ready for the first mechanical boss. Now I did just place some ash blocks and got herb slimes to plant fire blossoms. It'll take some time before the infernal potion is ready. But I think even without an infernal potion I am ready to fight the boss. And when it comes to flasks, I am going to use the Flask of Ichor, since it gets rid of armor. I'm going to use all my potions, of course. And I built a big arena above my surface here, where the top row has all the buffs along the entire arena. It's a quarter of the map. And the bottom row has some honey here and there, so if I really need the honey buff, I can drop down, get it, and go back up to where I am faster. I have my adamantine gear. I have all my accessories. I am mainly using damage reduction since I don't want to die. And let's see, I have the mechanical worm ready. Now I'm doing the worm first because I can use the jester arrows there, and I'm using the titanium repeater. And each of the mechanical bosses drops souls, and each type of souls can craft another weapon. And I'm hoping with the first souls I get from this mechanical worm, I will be able to craft a weapon which is slightly more single target. Now there's two things on this boss that I'm scared of. One is the head. I think the head will probably one or maybe two shot me if I get hit by it, so I really need to make sure that I keep my distance. And the second is the adds. Each segment, once you kill it, spawns a small mechanical eye, and that eye can really overwhelm you as a player. And so I must make sure that they don't overwhelm me. And how I want to deal with that is by completely running left, and hopefully the eyes despawn if I run fast enough. Now I do also want to make sure that my spawn spot is safe. So this way if I spawn I go back here, and this is quite far away from the arena and stuff, and so I'm sure I'm hoping the worm will despawn. And yeah, I'm just going to sit in my arena with the honey buff, and as soon as it's night I will spawn the boss. So it's night, I'm not getting any messages of events or anything. I'm buffing up, getting all my minions, and there is the boss. Okay. Where is his head? Where is his head? Yeah, so there you see some of the little ads that are following me. Those are the mechanical eyes that I'm scared of. And that is the head that I must not get hit by. I think I maybe even dodged the damage of the head this time. Now you are able to see the head on the map, which helps you avoid it. But it is still a very scary thing. It goes quite fast. So there it is again. And I am going to quickly take this buff, the honey buff. I'm not feeling too overwhelmed by the small ads yet, so that's scary. Head got close there. Using one health potion here, and I am using the reduced cooldown health potions. And the head is coming. Just looking at the map where the head is. Okay, so I don't think I need to move as much as I thought I would. But I must from time to time kill these little ads so I don't get overwhelmed by them. Let's keep an eye on the map where the head is. It seems like it is low enough so I can get some shots in here. Okay, still going good. Full health, so I don't need the honey buff right now. Seems like at this height I'm quite safe from this boss. And there the head is, and I'm fine. I'm keeping an eye on my health and keeping an eye on the map. Okay, so I think the boss is going to go down here, and I'm going to keep clearing the ads. Keep an eye on the map where the head is. Okay, my health is going down a little bit, but it seems to be regenerating once again. Okay, so I don't think this boss has a special phase, so I should be good. Especially since most of the segments are dead already, so it won't spawn a lot of ads anymore. I just must make sure that the head doesn't accidentally hit me if it goes too high. After this fight I will take a look if any of the NPCs died, since I did spawn it quite close to my base. I think the pirate might have died, but I'm not sure. And this should be it here, I think. Still 300 HP. Clear the ads. Don't want to die after the boss fight. Getting the honey buff so I'm full health as fast as possible. And there it is. Destroyer down. So I have all my buffs up still and it's 10 PM. I could do another boss maybe. I think I prefer to first... You know what? I have all my buffs up and this was pretty doable. So I am going to try the mechanical eye. Now this boss does require some single target damage. So I might not get it down in time, but I have 2 of the spawns. So let's see how it goes. I am going to drop down to my arena and immediately spawn it. Okay, so it's just out of range of this. I'm going to swap my arrows. Okay, I need to dodge this a little better. Okay, so if I run, they will get into my sickle range. Now this boss, it enrages once one of the eyes hits 50% health, and also an eye enrages when the other eye dies. So you want to have one eye like 51% health and then kill the other eye. So you're fighting the least amount of enrage eye time. I'm going to try and get them down to about 50% health each. And then I am going to start focusing down one of the eyes. I do want to reapply the Ichor buff every time. And then shoot them with my bow. Now, I'm not using the best arrows here. Yeah, I'm not liking this. I'm just fleeing. See if they come. I'm going to heal, just in case. Okay, so they are coming, but I do have the time to quickly teleport away. Teleport back to my arena and I'm back at full health. And now the eyes did despawn. Okay, so my safe spot is a little bit too close to the arena, but it's fine. Okay, I of course have a little bit of adrenaline from that. Now I did kill the mechanical worm, which I intended, and the mechanical eye I just had to try out because I had 2 of the eyes. But I do need a little bit more single target damage and I need to be a little bit more careful of their attacks. So let's see, I got the mechanical wagon piece, some hallowed bars and the soul of might. So let's see, I think this might be the mega shark, but I'm not quite sure. Let's quickly check. Oh, it's the True Knight's Edge and the mega shark. See, it's 20. Ah, but this needs all 3. Okay, yeah, true. I wanted to use the True Knight's Edge for Pantera probably. Then the mega shark is only the souls of might, and I need to get some shark fins, and then I have the mega shark. Yeah, so that is the next boss down. Now what I'm going to do now is farm some shark fins, get some more potions up and running, and then prepare for the next mechanical boss. Now I will do that in the next episode. And so if you watched this episode, a lot of farming, a lot of fishing, I do appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed the video just as much as I enjoy playing Terraria. So thank you for watching, and next time you'll see the next 2 mechanical bosses and my Pantera preparations.